LBJ Hospital is a level 3 trauma center. We're one of the busiest level 3 trauma centers in the country. We have 215 beds available, and we see on average 80,000 patients in our emergency department. We work very closely with the nurses in the emergency department. They have a long experience in taking care of critically ill patients.
When treating patients who've gone through a trauma, a good skill to have is looking at the big picture and finding out what we need to do right then. Every second counts. Treating traumas over the 6 years at LBJ has been very impactful for me just because it reminds me that tomorrow's not promised and that anything can happen to anyone at any moment.
It was a nice day outside. We had the grandkids come home and they wanted to go play soccer outside. My husband said we got to clean the backyard. Well, we were out there cutting the grass. The lawnmower happened to grab a rock. It just hit me on my left leg and knocked me down. I started bleeding. I said, well, I just need to go to the hospital for a few stitches. When I got there and they did x-rays, it broke my tibia. Well, they said something about putting a rod on my leg. So they said, you're having surgery next thing tomorrow. Everybody said it was just a freak accident.
We wanted to move out the neighborhood that we lived in. We saw a couple of houses. My wife was showing me pictures of another house, and I didn't pay attention. I ran a red light. A big one-ton truck hit us. The airbag went off and it broke my ribs under my sternum. I just remember bouncing. By the time I come to, I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. I sat in the car maybe another 15, 20 minutes for the ambulance. I was asked what hospital I wanted to go to. I wanted to go to LBJ because that's where I feel they have the best surgeons. They gave me a CAT scan and they let me know the news that everything was broke. They helped me the best that they could to keep me comfortable, but there was nothing they could actually do for broken ribs in the sternum. It had to heal the way it healed.
There's a few things that are different about Taub. One, our patient population is unique. It's largely a very medically underserved patient population. Everyone involved in the care of the patients is just so focused on the mission of taking care of patients that are the most vulnerable in our county. We have a team of people here 24 hours a day that all we do is take care of people that are traumatically injured. Making sure that you're seen immediately when you come in the door, you're getting the right studies ordered, the correct workup, connected with the correct doctors to get the correct care.
Since I was in college, I knew I wanted to help people, especially in their, probably the worst day of their life when they're in the emergency room, coming in for car crashes or whatever it is that they're coming in for. You're basically there for them, calming them down, letting them know what we're doing to make sure they're gonna be okay.
It was August 18, 2024. 10 o'clock at night, I was coming home, being with friends. I came to a stop sign. The opposite car, when I was crossing over, T-boned me and I ended up in the ditch. I was pulled out of the car and barely could walk. The doctors told me that I broke my pelvis bone. They did all the x-rays and they noticed that I had 4 fractured ribs. Also, my bladder and my kidney was lacerated.
It was August 31st that my boyfriend and I was out and we had an argument. Then at that point I felt the car shift to the right and I knew something wasn't right. And then I heard boom, boom. I remember waking up to hearing someone saying, "Hurry, no one's alive, hurry, hurry." I kind of started panicking myself, but I kept hearing that voice saying, "Don't go to sleep." And I just focused on the talking. Next thing I know, I seen like a bright light and I realized I'm in the emergency room.
I was 20 years old at the time. I was doing a pizza delivery. I was at the red light waiting for the light to turn green. And that's when I had a truck come head-on collision with me. They put me on the stretcher, took me to Taub. They took my x-rays. At 12 hours, I went into surgery. I have a broken right arm that has metal inside of it. I have a metal rod in my right leg. I have a left wrist that was broken. My left rib was broken. My right pelvis was broken too in this car accident.
I think it was 2 nights I was at the hospital. After surgery, and the next day I was out, walking with a boot and a walker. I did therapy from August to probably the end of November. I didn't think I was going to be able to walk. What motivated me to get better was my parents. They needed me more than, anything else. And my grandkids, my husband, my kids also. A lot of people depend on me.
I was home in a week, and they would still call my house, check up on me, and got me through it.
The surgeon diagnosed me with 40% chance of living. I've always had a special place in my heart for healthcare providers. They did whatever it took to get me where I'm still here today.
I didn't feel alone. Everyone was very helpful. It made me feel like everything's gonna be okay. I can get my life back. Anyone who goes through trauma, be patient with yourself. It takes time, but it also takes work. It doesn't happen overnight. If you put your mind to it and you really be consistent, believe in yourself, and you can overcome this.
I want to thank everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks to all the nurses.
When we hear thank you for our patients, that's what keeps us going.
You learn a lot about gratitude when you're taking care of people who've been traumatically injured. They've taught me a lot about fortitude. The amount of wherewithal it takes to rebuild things afterwards, it's just remarkable. I aspire to be a lot like the people I take care of.
It's a miracle that I'm here, speaking to you, and I can share my story with you all.